The Valor Academy of Interstellar Studies prided itself on preparing young minds, alien or otherwise, for the unpredictable dangers of the galaxy. That meant teaching not only languages and navigation, but also fear management. For the class of 412B, that meant today was Beast Day. Professor Kelvor, a tall, insectoid educator with multifaceted eyes and mandibles that clicked in agitation, stood at the front of the massive training chamber. Today, Kelvor announced in a voice that vibrated like metal under stress, you will face the manifestation of your deepest biological fear. Our fear beast has been conditioned to evoke terror, even in the most disciplined of minds. The goal is not to defeat it, but to resist the urge to flee. A ripple of anxiety passed through the group of 20 cadets. They came from 12 different species, scaled, furred, feathered, and chitin-covered. Some stood on 2 legs, others on 4, and one floated on a cushion of ionized gas. Only one member of the class looked relaxed. Too relaxed. Jack Rayner, the lone human. Beginning a lesson in terror. Jack had joined the academy less than a month ago. Most cadets had never even seen a human before. The Galactic Compact had long considered humans a frontier species. Unpredictable, stubborn, hard to intimidate. This was his first fear beast trial, but to the others, he was just an odd newcomer with unpolished armor and that irritating habit of whistling when nervous. The other cadets whispered in their native tongues. He'll break before the second minute. Humans are fragile. His mind will shatter. They don't even have claws. Kelvor tapped a control panel, and the reinforced doors at the far end of the chamber hissed open. A low, bone-deep growl echoed through the room. The sound alone made the hairs on Jack's arms rise. The fear beast stepped out. It was wrong. Not in the way a predator is dangerous, but in the way nightmares don't follow the rules of reality. Its shape shifted as the cadets looked at it. One moment a towering feline with teeth like glass knives, the next a writhing mass of tendrils tipped with hooks. Its skin shimmered between textures. Scales, fur, smooth hide, wet membrane. The beast was fear, an alien bioform designed to trigger the deepest survival instincts of every species present. It worked instantly. The Bravothi twins, scaled lizard folk, backed into each other, their forked tongues tasting the air in panic. The floating Kthari shimmered erratically, its gas cloud body pulsing with fear. Even the stoic Yulgrans, who were born in predator-infested ice caves, shuffled back a step. Jack just watched. The beast's many eyes, glowing an oily yellow, scanned the group. It moved past a trembling four-armed cadet, past a feathered avian whose wings shook, until it stopped in front of Jack. It stared at him. Jack stared back. Then, to the astonishment of the entire class, the fear beast gave a huff, like a giant exhale through a furnace, and curled up at Jack's boots. It closed its eyes. Within seconds it was asleep. Middle whispers and accusations. The silence that followed was almost worse than the growl earlier. Kelvor's mandibles clicked so fast they sounded like a typewriter. "Cadet Rayner," he said, stepping closer. "What exactly did you do?" Jack blinked. Nothing. It just came over, stared at me and..." He gestured helplessly toward the now purring nightmare. "Decided I'm nap material, I guess." The class erupted into overlapping alien languages. Some accused him of cheating. Others thought he'd used some hidden tech. A particularly vocal cadet, Vrixa, a feline predator species known for arrogance, hissed at him. "The fear beast cannot be tamed. You used a chemical, a scent. Tell us." Jack shrugged. "Pretty sure I didn't. I mean, it's kind of cute if you ignore the whole flesh hook thing." Professor Kelvor's antennae quivered. "Cadet Rayner, you will remain after class. This anomaly must be investigated. The rest of the session was chaos. The beast remained asleep at Jack's feet, occasionally twitching in dreams, while the other cadets tried and failed to approach it without panic. Whenever someone else came near, the beast would snap awake, bare impossible teeth, and force them back. But at Jack's slightest pat on its fur, scales, whatever it was, it would sigh contentedly. After class, Jack was led to a quiet observation chamber. The beast followed like an oversized, horrifying puppy. Kelvor and a team of scientists observed from behind a force field. One of them, a small amphibian in a lab coat, croaked in disbelief. "It is imprinted on him. Impossible. The fear beast's only instinct is to attack or terrify." Jack scratched behind what seemed to be an ear. The beast's tail, if it was a tail, thumped the floor. "So, what happens now?" Jack asked. "We study," Kelvor said, "until we understand why you, a human, provoke not fear but comfort." Middle, the investigation. They ran tests. They scanned Jack's brain, his pheromone output, his body temperature. They compared recordings of the beast's behavior toward others versus toward him. Every time the result was the same. The monster regarded every other living thing as prey or threat, except Jack. Some theories emerged. Hypothesis 1. Humans had some invisible signal the beast interpreted as kin. Hypothesis 2. Jack had unknowingly undergone exposure to beast pheromones prior to the test. Hypothesis 3. The beast had simply chosen him at random. Jack wasn't convinced by any of them. "Maybe it's just that I didn't flinch," he suggested. "Animals back home, dogs, horses, even wild ones, they pick up on fear. Maybe it's like that." Vrixa scoffed from across the lab. She'd insisted on being present to prove Jack was a fraud. "That thing is not an animal from your dirtball planet. It was bred from the apex predators of 6 worlds." Jack grinned. "Guess I'm just good with pets." Middle, trouble brews. The next week, the Academy came under attack. It wasn't a war, at least not yet. A raiding fleet of KYRR slavers had breached orbital defenses, aiming to snatch valuable cadets for ransom. The Academy went into lockdown. Most students were herded into secure bunkers. Jack was supposed to be among them, except the beast wouldn't leave his side, and it refused to be confined. That turned out to be a problem. And a blessing. When the first KYRR boarding team breached the outer halls, alarms blared and security drones swarmed. But the invaders were fast, strong, and armed with disruptor rifles. Jack, trapped between a sealed blast door and the advancing KYRR, braced himself for a fight he knew he couldn't win. The beast moved. It didn't growl this time, it roared. The sound rattled the plating under Jack's boots. KYRR froze. Their weapons trembled in their hands. Then the fear beast showed them why it had that name. It moved in a blur, a shifting nightmare of claws, teeth, and impossible shapes. KYRR warriors who moments ago had been fearless raiders screamed in panic, firing wildly as they stumbled back toward their shuttle. Not one of them stayed to fight. When it was over, the beast padded back to Jack, tail swishing lazily, and sat. Jack blinked at the carnage. Good boy," he said. Middle, the truth comes out. In the aftermath, Kelvor personally reviewed the incident footage. His conclusion was unexpected. "It is not that the beast sees you as kin," the professor said, antennae swaying. "It is that it recognizes you as apex. You did not flee. You did not bare teeth in challenge. You simply existed without fear. This is dominance beyond its understanding." Jack rubbed the back of his neck. "So, it thinks I'm scarier than it is?" Not scarier, Kelvor corrected. More certain. You carry an instinct your species evolved in a predator-rich environment. The ability to mask fear, to stand your ground even against hopeless odds. That confuses it. Comforts it. Vrixa, overhearing, muttered. Or maybe it just likes the way he smells. The professor ignored her. Whatever the reason, Cadet Rayner, the beast is now bonded to you. We will reassign it from training to security detail, under your command. Ending. The human and his monster. In the weeks that followed, Jack's life changed dramatically. Wherever he went, the fear beast followed. Hallways cleared at their approach. Bullies from other classes suddenly found other targets. Jack started calling it Pillow, partly because it liked to nap, partly because it annoyed Vrixa. Pillow became the Academy's unofficial mascot and official deterrent. When visiting dignitaries toured the school, they would whisper in awe about the human who tamed the untamable. Jack never bothered correcting them. He hadn't tamed Pillow. They just met and something had clicked. One evening, as Jack sat on the observation deck watching distant stars, Pillow lay beside him, a warm, terrifying weight against his leg. You know, Jack said, they all think you're the scariest thing in the galaxy. Pillow's breathing slowed, already drifting into another nap. Jack smiled. Guess they've never met me. Final scene. The next semester's Fear Beast trial was different. Kelvor brought the cadets into the chamber, explaining the rules as before. The doors opened, and instead of the shifting nightmare in padded Pillow, it went straight to Jack, curled up, and ignored the rest of the class completely. The new cadets stared, horrified and confused. Jack just patted Pillow's head. Don't worry, he said with a grin. He only eats people who try to steal my lunch. Kelvor sighed, antennae drooping. We will have to acquire another fear beast. The legend of the human who made the monster sleep spread far beyond the Academy. And somewhere out there, in whispered tales aboard starships and spaceports, people began to say, if you ever meet a human, don't assume you're the predator.